Alright, hello. Today I want to talk about something that's very important to me. And before I get on to my soapbox or ramp or whatever you want to call it, I want to explain something about myself. First of all, if you had asked me 10 or 15 years ago, I would have told you that I'm a feminist because I strongly believe in equal rights across the board. Whether you're talking about race, gender, nationality, you name it. Even religion, it should be all respected equally across the board. And I firmly believe that, especially when it comes to equal rights, that women should have just as much equal rights as men do. Women should be allowed to be in the military if they want to. Women should be allowed to vote or, do any of the jobs that men do. If a woman wants to be a firefighter, I say, hell yeah. A woman wants to be a peace officer, hell yeah. A woman wants to join the military, hell yeah. If they can do the job, they should be allowed to do the job. To me, that's that simple. If you can do what's asked and required, then you should get the same treatment. No better, no worse, the same. With few exceptions. Like, maternity leave, obviously, because, that's a medical condition. If men had an equal, one, they'd get it off just as well. But that being said, I no longer consider myself a feminist because feminism hasn't become about equal rights. It's gone to something beyond that and nastier. To quote the great George Carlin, okay, I'll give it to you. I won't call her a policeman, I'll call her a police officer, but I'm not going to call that a person hole. It's a manhole. Get over it. And on that notion, things are no longer equal. Let's take, recent news. Okay? Now, if someone reads in the newspaper or sees on TV that a woman was brutally beaten, either, to an inch of her life, or raped, or gangbanged, or any of these things, you look at the reactions of any guy any guy, you even have, like, an occasional association with, any guy in your vicinity. Let's say you're at Best Buy, and there are, like, hundreds of TVs on the walls, and it all comes up that a woman was beaten or raped or anything along those lines. And let's say that the place is jam-packed like it's Black Friday or some shit. No guy there would laugh. No guy there would initially think it was funny. No guy would laugh instinctively. No guy would even remotely think that was funny. Whether they're alone or in a busy store, no guy is going to find that funny. Okay? No guy whose mind is, like, mentally right will find that funny. However, when the story of Lorraine Bobbitt came around, and recently in the news, a woman cut off her husband's penis and then took it to the garbage disposal, or the food disposal, whatever, and had it shred up. Now, there's no way of getting that back. It won't be surgically reattached. It won't be any of that stuff. It's gone. That penis is gone. Okay? Permanently. There's no getting that back. There's no surgical procedure. There's nothing. It's gone. You look at all the women there's going to be a bunch that laugh, like, instantly, instinctively, who initially think it's funny. There will be. And when I was watching an episode of MASH, there's this guy who falls in love with Hot Lips Houlihan. And she wants to be intimate with him, but he kind of evades her. And she finally finds out why at the end. He stepped on a landmine, and he doesn't have the ability to have sex with her anymore. My biological sister instantly laughed at this and thought it was funny. And she didn't even try to hide it or anything. And I'm sorry, but if the tables were turned, if that was a woman that happened to, no guy would laugh. No guy would think that was funny. No guy in their right mind. But, your average woman, they'll think it's funny. If something, bad happens to a man's penis or whatever, they'll laugh. they'll point and snicker. And they'll initially think it's funny. But what's really happening is the man is physically emasculated. The man has been sexually assaulted. He has been mutilated beyond repair. This is not funny. This isn't remotely funny, but women will laugh. Lots of women all over the United States who are perfectly all right in their minds. I'm sorry, but there's an equality there that exists. That inequality doesn't limit it to that alone. I hear way too often of women complaining about men being pigs. Well, first of all, if all men are pigs, then all women are lesbians. A pig is a female. A hog is male. Okay, so first of all, men aren't all pigs, because that would make you all lesbians, because there'd only be one gender, female. Second of all, women think about sex just as much as men do. Women look at things that sexually arouse them just as often, as much, if not more, than men do. Women are far more obsessed with sex than men will ever be. I don't care what time period, what culture you're talking about. And to demonstrate this, because as I said, I don't say anything without providing evidence or being backed up. Today, this very day that I'm making this video right here, right now, I did my own research. See, if you go to any, sections of magazines, you look at all the women magazines and you look at all the men magazines, look at all the different variety of men magazines. You have Sports Illustrated, which, yes, has the swimsuit model section, which is supposed to be all sexy and sexually attractive and sexually arousing. Okay? But then we have other things that have nothing to do with women in skimpy clothing. We have Fish and Gaming. We have PC Repair. We have bodybuilding magazines. We have culinary magazines, because there are men who like to cook. I personally like to cook and bake. It used to be that I could cook, decently, and I wouldn't trust, baking for anyone, because I always managed to screw that up. Now I'm an excellent baker. I'm an excellent cook. I've got a sewing machine behind me. I sewed my own pant legs. I had about 4 inches that were ripped off the bottom of my pant legs, because they always get under my heel and rip that big hole. I fixed that up myself. There are mechanic magazines, there are PC gaming magazines, there are anime magazines. You go to the women's section, it's home and gardens, it's sex, relating to sex, more relating to sex, other sex, and fitness, which all relates to sex. All of it. And today, my neighbor got, picked up 5 magazines for his lady. He picked up 5 magazines for his lady. And all these magazines, right? Just 5 random magazines. And these aren't, your teeny bopper sex craze magazines like Cosmo either. The first magazine was People. And the front cover had a beautiful woman on the cover. Okay, because we see beautiful women, we think sex. Seriously, it's a stereotype that if a woman's attractive, she must be a slut. Men, women think this equally. At least initially. But they don't like to judge, like, up front. It's all like behind back, whisper, gossip shit. Okay, so I opened to a random midsection within People magazine. And on page 48 and 49, the highlights were virgin territory. The other one was boys can be affected by HPV disease too, another sex-related topic. Life and Style Weekly, the front of the cover was Kim Kardashian. And all of it was like relationship crap on the side, and the titles and everything. All of that was relationship crap. When you think relationship, how often do you think of an intimate relationship between people without having any kind of sexual, like, background thoughts? Seriously, if people are in an intimate relationship, you think sex. That's the first thing that comes to your mind. I don't care who you are. And if you say otherwise, you're full of shit. I'm sorry. I'm not going to buy it. And I'm not trying to say all people are the same, but intimate relationship and sex go hand in hand. Seriously, if you see a boyfriend and a girlfriend holding hands, you know, older teens, older adults, you think they're probably fucking, and you're probably right. So, moving right along, I open to the random midsection on page 25 of Life and Style Weekly. I found Bradley Lovers Playing the Field. Playing the Field is a sexual reference. On page 24, Why She's Worried. He jumps from woman to woman. Once again, pertaining to sex.